Don't know if there's a delay on on live. Okay, it's live then. Okay, thank you. Great. Okay, thank you for telling me it's live. Right, so this is the last in the Lawpreneur series.
Telling me it's live.
I think, in fact, I'm just going to mute that.
So this is the last.
And just start from here. Okay, so as I say, the last in the Lawpreneur series, 3-part series, and this is Love Does Cost Something. And the reason I've chosen that, surprise, surprise, is because of JLo. And love doesn't cost a thing. And I always question, I'm doing it now. I can't have a straight face in hearing the lyrics to this song or the title of that song. So as far as I'm concerned, love does cost something. And it's taken me a while to get to that point. And it's something perhaps a lot of my clients face, or people who choose not to get my services. So I think it's a very interesting lyric. And I was somewhere, if you think about the lyrics, I think it's something like, even if you're broke, my love don't cost a thing. I was that person, when it came to my clients. I was the person who, trying to help everybody. I was the person the lawyer, let's be clear, I was the lawyer who was trying to help everybody and everything. And so a lot of clients would say, I haven't got enough money over the years. And I've been doing this for 20 years. If you've seen my live yesterday, it's Wednesday and we're Friday, so 2 days ago now. If you saw that live, I explained what I do, who I am, and I've been doing it for 20 years. And so over the last 2 decades, if not more, I was the person who would, quote, save people when it came to their money. And so it's something of a journey that I've been going on in terms of my value, my mindset, and what I offer to a high standard and what I deliver. And in terms of getting aligned people into my services. That sounds a little bit boring, but I'm going to really give you a little bit of my story and your story, because ultimately, again, as I started this series on Monday, it's about you, not me. And so this is for everybody. This is the one I would say is for everybody. The first on Monday was really for my clients. So my clients came along on Monday and we did some vision work together to set them up for 2025 when it came to their legal disputes or anything else that's going on in their personal lives, because we know everything is happening. Nothing happens in a neat fashion. It just happens and you've got to deal with what you've got. And that's something, again, that I'm constantly struggling with. I'm human. Nothing, whatever you see from me or whatever you've heard from me, if you've known me for a while, it might appear perfect on the outside, but look, life happens and things happen. Nothing waits for perfection. Okay, so that's the first thing. Monday was for my clients. It was vision work in the 2025 for them. They didn't necessarily know what they were coming into, but they knew to trust me, having known me for years or months, with the work that we do. And then Wednesday was really, it's about, as I say, who I am. And so those who may not have come across me, new clients potentially, or people who just want to get an idea of what work it is that I do, that was really for Wednesday. But this one is really for everybody. And I say lawyers because I know there are lawyers like me who've done this for years. I know friends who are here on Facebook who are lawyers as well. And I know that we all undercharge or we accept certain clients. But I also know that non-lawyers think sometimes that, they don't really want to spend the money, perhaps sometimes, on the legal issues because it doesn't feel good to them. They want to spend their time in something that feels good, whether that's shopping for them, whether that's buying a car, whether that's, spending time with doing things they love. No one wants to go through a legal dispute. It's not something you wake up in the morning and go, oh, hey, I really want to do this, unless you're a lawyer. And so they put things off. They, hide, bury their head, and then, It could be a year, it could be months later, and someone else on the other side acts in a way that they don't want, and they're forced to go and deal with this issue because it's in their face and there's consequences. Now, I don't really want you to be in that position, but equally, I think you deserve better, and I think you should deserve, or think you should think you deserve better as well. Okay, you can't want it less than I do as a lawyer. This is your life, and it's really important that you get everything as far as you can in a neater way to kind of mitigate or lessen the damage when it comes to your life, moving about doing what you want to do. So sometimes you're not going to like a lot of what I'm going to say, but I'm going to tell you it anyway, because that's the person I am. Sometimes it is a case of dealing with being uncomfortable, and no one really likes that. I don't like it, if I'm honest, in other areas that I'm working through in my life, but also dealing with the period of being uncomfortable so you can be comfortable down the line. The worst thing is to be comfortable for such a long period of time, enjoy your life, and then it gets taken away because it's made so uncomfortable and you have no choice in that. And if you know me, if you know anything of what I do, even from looking at my posts rather than perhaps knowing and speaking to me, you will know that I'm all about not being a victim in a legal dispute. I'm all about being empowered and winning. And that winning, that phrase, being a winner, can be a number of things. It's not just, a great result at the end of it. But maybe winning at life is you making a decision that you would like rather than someone else, like a judge, making a decision for you, or the other side making a decision for you and being in a much better position than you are. So they dictate everything. That's what I hate. And so, as I say, I've got my story that led me to where I am now, and I've still got a way to go with what I want to do in my life, and my plans. But equally, I see a mirror between what I am going through, what I have gone through in my learning experience, and what my clients come to me and show me, and we tackle together. So I have people from all different walks of life, but I think it's important for me to give you a bit of background about a very brief history of my story in terms of what's transformed me to get from being you're broke, let me help you out, and then I'm suffering, let's be honest, to the point where, no, hold on a minute, I invest in high value things, I invest in high level coaching, I invest in high level, lifestyle things, I enjoy situations that I'm in. So my client should also prioritize these important things because ultimately I'm doing it for them. They should be doing it for them as well and their family and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where this all starts. Basically, I don't like victims. I like people being empowered. And if that sounds like something that you prefer to do or people you want to hang around with, then this is the right situation for you and this is the right type of chat that we should be having. So what I want to do is explain, firstly, as I say, my story around this. I am Cynthia McFarlane, who've never met me before. I empower people, I empower clients so that they can secure their legacy and so their life can remain intact or as secure as possible. Now, I wasn't, as I say, that person. I look at helping people with 360-degree legal protection, and we do it from a place of empowerment rather than victimhood. But I was someone who, despite doing all those things and wanting people to be empowered, I was wanting to help them in every area of their legal position. So rather than people coming to me being responsible for their life, I was taking on all of that as well as trying to deal with the cases in a way. And that is great. It didn't particularly harm me, got me a lot of clients. Obviously 20 years doing legal work has meant that I'm successful in that, but I have to really look down and think, well, hold on a minute, how am I empowering these people? And a lot of the time, what I was trying to do, yes, okay, the results were there and could tick the boxes of getting the qualifications, of going to court, of getting the results when, we got the results, if we can get to where we want in life for the client. But that's not how it should be, in my opinion. So I created what I created, had that process available to them. And it meant that I was going on this transformation myself, and then my clients were also going on a transformation. Hi, Nadine, if you're watching, great to see you. I'd like to catch up with you soon, actually. So as I was saying, this is really about everybody getting to a point where, deservingness. I think that's a very good phrase that someone I know called Tasha Chen refers to deservingness. Being deserving, having respect for yourself and having your clients having respect for you, ultimately. And so in terms of doing that, I only wish to work with high level clients. What does that mean? It doesn't necessarily mean money, but of course that's part of it, because the way you dictate that you should move forward in life is the way that the path follows, and it kind of filters out to everything else. So those aligned clients also appreciate that they're responsible for their actions, but also they also accept and understand that when you're having an illegal expert in place, they should be paid appropriately for that. And as I say, it's taken me too long to get to that point, to my own detriment. I just want to see because I had a couple of notes here on my flip chart that I got before New Year. And I want to make sure I cover it because there's so much I could say here. It could take forever, but I'm really wanting to not waffle on. If you've got any questions, do put them in the chat, and hopefully Tasha can throw me the answers or the questions and I can answer them. Because I can't see anything in the chat right now. And I don't want to put myself into the Facebook and then I hear myself 2 or 3 times over. So yeah, as I say, it's about investment in yourself. What I also want to say to you, though, is to think in a very brief way to the way I was helping people do things on Monday, is maybe look at, if you're approaching a legal situation, what is the cost? And I don't mean the monetary cost. What is the cost of you not doing the action or taking the action in respect of your legal dispute? And what is the reward? So if you were doing a piece of paper, pros and cons, or the cost versus the reward, I can tell you now it's likely that the people who are spending a lot of the time thinking, okay, I want a free lawyer, or I want a very low value lawyer to help me here with this dispute, whatever the size of that dispute is, however complex, they're the ones who are going to suffer in the long run, because they're never going to get someone tackling the case to the point that they want it. So it's a real weapon in the legal dispute. And so they're only damaging themselves. And as I say, being comfortable in a nice, way is lovely for a very short period of time. But if you're in it for too long, the consequences are going to be much greater. So ultimately, what I'm saying to you is that love, in my opinion, and my love, in terms of the work I do, does cost something. It always did, but I didn't value myself in the way that I perhaps value myself now, and that's age, that's experience. But I love the clients I work with now. I've always had great clients, but it's so much nicer to work with people who appreciate you. You appreciate what they're working, too. And yes, there's that mutual respect there. And you have the goal working alongside it. So look, I don't know how long I've been on. I feel like I've been rambling a little bit, and it's probably because it's Friday and I'd rather be in a club somewhere, although I live in the countryside, not London anymore, but I'd love to be clubbing right now, perhaps, rather than telling you all these things on a Friday night. But I think it's important for you to hear it because, as I say, you can spend a lot of time clubbing, enjoying, but if you're doing it without getting everything else in order, you're going to have a massive hit, to your future plans. And so the other thing I want to also point out, if you've been following my series or following my posts for the last probably even 6 months, if not more, I think we started around June, maybe a little bit later, in fact, of end of last year, maybe some summer, autumn time. You will know that I'm doing the Business Owners Legal Society. If you're new to that, never heard of that before, it's really for business owners who wish to tackle their legal disputes in the 360-degree process, so that they can be secure when it comes to their livelihood and their home life. So in order to be part of that, it's £800 per calendar month. It's for 12 months. You have a group of peers. There'll be initially some one-to-one as we go and grow into that community. But if you're someone who also wants to look at perhaps working with me on a much more one-to-one basis or higher level, there is another way of applying to work with me, and that is on an application only basis. So Tasha, hopefully, if you can see this, I'm going to ask you to put a DM, like DM or app. That means direct message. If you want to be part of this community, that's the Business Owners Legal Society, then I would ask you to put DM and we will DM you, put that in the chat. We'll come back to you with the details of that. Alternatively, if you want to be someone who has an application process and applies to work with me on a high level, which is a higher investment than the money we've just spoken about, then you can do that. There's some questions in the application and we will reach out to you and we can get you on a call if you are a suitable fit at the right stage of where you need to be to enjoy those services. But I say, appreciate the time. It's Friday. I'm sure 8:20. I know what I would like to be doing. So I'll let you go. And hopefully, if there are any questions, drop them in the chat and I'll look over them as and when they come in, or DM me. That's fine. Take care. Bye.